Thanks for staying with us. So we read in the papers earlier that our lawmakers are pushing for the establishment of 32 federal institutions amidst the shortage of lecturers, possibly as a result of Japa. And many of us are looking at it in different ways. Should we have more universities? Do we need more universities? And if we're getting more universities, what are we going to do about the lecturers who, many of them are relocating, moving to other countries, and there are shortages of lecturers? I think Mariam took that story. One particular university needs about over 300 lecturers to handle a specific, I think it was agriculture you said, I believe. But the point is that many of our lecturers are moving on, and yet our lawmakers are pushing for more universities. What are your thoughts on this? I can also link that to the report from the president, who said that they're also looking to see how introduce a policy to get the university to become more self-reliant. What are your thoughts and general thoughts on this? You can call us on the numbers on your screen, 080-081-07641-679-090-241-63440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag #YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Nima, would you like to jump in here?
Okay, so
what are your thoughts on this?
Yes, the lawmakers and all the speakers have made, political the need for university and tertiary education in the country. Sadly, I know that in those days, tertiary educations were opened in states to help, broaden the minds of the indigenes where the universities are located or the state in question. But we have since passed that stage. We have enough, I believe, more than enough federal institutions or higher institutions in the country, and we don't need more. What we should be talking about now is how to secure and lock down funding so that we bring them to be at par with, international options that our people now opt to go. I have always thought proudly of Nigerian universities, but I don't see even government officials talk so proudly of Nigerian federal institutions across the country. When it's time, when the person is talking, you say, when I went to Unibe, for instance, but when it's time for university education for the children, they're talking of abroad options. And it's not good because that gives them options, and of course they will not deal seriously as they should with what we have right now. Also, universities across the world are solution centers. You're studying to fill in local solutions. These days, we're just going to school to get the degrees, to be able to say, I have paper, I have, Most people, we need to fine-tune our education to solve our problems. Our lecturers and projects should be bringing out solutions that are Nigerian, that government can back. If government cannot fund, how can they back such projects, Well,
let me come to the other ladies, because I know that last week we had a lawmaker here who told us that every petition that is raised in various constituencies must be brought to the House. So is it possible that these lawmakers are saying, listen, my constituents have said they need the university. It's one of the things that I've been asked to do. I must put forward the need to build a university for my own community. So maybe that's why they're not looking at it. They're not looking at it based on, do we need it as a nation, or is it an obligation I must make to my people? What are your own?
Personally, I don't have problems with more universities, more tertiary institutions. As more widespread as they can be, I like that. Many people have to travel quite a distance to get to to be able to go to school. So that's not the problem. My problem is for what we have on ground right now. What are we doing about them? They're in such an appalling condition where the physical structures themselves, the lecturers, as we read in the papers, the vacancies available, constant strike, you're in school for a 4-year course, you're there for 8 years. There's just so many issues right now. And so my take would be, before you start building new structures and setting up new structures, let's fix what's on ground. Let's have a proper system that would allow for the other ones, the new ones, when they come in, a seamless flow. We cannot have these things multiplied by 32. Again, so that's my problem. And universities, when they're when they keep asking for this autonomy, I hope they understand what it means. I hope they don't, that it involves research, writing papers. I was just recently reading about this young black boy abroad that had discovered or had come up with this body cream that helped with skin cancers. And in that research, he worked closely with lecturers of a particular university. University lecturers, do they understand that it's beyond writing, writing thesis or giving people handouts and paying for that? We need to also see that we have the caliber of lecturers that understand what is expected of them. The university administration, when they ask for autonomy, what exactly are they asking for? This will come with a huge responsibility. Are they ready for that? There's no holding your cap and going back to federal government asking for bailout or anything like that. So we need to be serious, draw out a plan, and then we follow it. Once we have sorted that out, then of course, bring the universities, bring the polytechnics. We need that, as there's so many Nigerians that write exams yearly, and just a few are able to get in. There's thousands of Nigerians that wait year in, year out, waiting for an opportunity to be able to get. So we definitely need more institutions, but working institutions.
All right, so I was going to put out a few data here. So Nigeria has a total of 52 federal universities. This is from the National Universities Commission. 63 state universities, 147 private universities. The federal polytechnics, about 40 of them. The state-owned 49 and private 76. There are 70 federal and state-owned colleges of health, while the number of private colleges of health are 17. So still, numbers really small compared to many countries. Yeah. What are your thoughts on BC on this?
I think when people make a request, the leaders must weigh which request must be put forward at the time that it comes. Not everything a child wants will be given to the child. Not everything you desire, you won't get everything you desire at the time you desire it, because the people who are supposed to be wiser and more knowledgeable will weigh what your desires are and say, okay, right now, this is not where we should put our energy. Can you pause on this? Let's fix this. What the university system needs is an overhaul. The university system in Nigeria so far hasn't given us the solutions they were meant to bring to us. We study, some of us did our masters in international schools abroad, and we know how the emphasis is on creating solutions with what you're studying. We need to begin to ask ourselves questions. What solutions have we been able to bring out from the universities? We have people who are suffering in agriculture, for instance. We're still struggling to be able to preserve and store some of our perishable goods. What solutions has the probably College of Agriculture or university or students who have studied agriculture, what have they brought to the table to help us tackle that issue? Local solutions, or not we want to import this and import that. What have they been able to bring? We have medical doctors. Today, we're still asking ourselves, have we been able to even produce vaccines? Are we making research to, find a way to infuse our herbal medicine, the things that we have right now? We're not really solving solutions or solving problems. We just have people who graduate from schools, who have the certificate and we graduate here. You ask them to come and write, or to even present. You present them with probably people who studied engineering and all of that. They don't even understand some of the machines. They have not even seen some of the machines in the classroom. We need an overhaul of the university system. We need to upgrade our university system. We need to ensure that we have lecturers who are abreast with the jobs of the future. Most of the things we have in our system is obsolete, and we're thinking of creating more universities to do what? Our classrooms in the universities are not even looking good. They are not equipped with, standard tools for teaching and facilities, and we want to create more. For what? All right. So it will boost the ego of a lawmaker to say we succeeded in having a university in our backyard. But what are you going to churn out from that university?
All right, let me take this call. Good morning. Thanks for calling.
Hello, good morning.
You're live.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Go ahead, please.
My name is Abeokuta. I'm speaking from Japa. You see, I'm in support of your colleague that just talked just now. You see, Nigeria is a country of jokers, and I think the reasons why all these senators or other members are calling for establishment of more universities is just cheap. It's just to score cheap political points. You see, the ones we have, what have we done with it? I am a lecturer, and I will tell you a story of myself. You know, I studied in the UK, and while in the UK, the money these 20 hours work, the money I earn, working from Monday to Friday is much more than what a professor earns in the country today. And I can tell you that as a senior lecturer, what I earn as salary cannot even take me home. So the point is not about setting more universities. The point is about making the universities we have now to work. Another example I will give to you is that, like one of your colleagues said, publishing papers. It's not as if we don't write. It's not as if we don't publish papers, but for us to be able to publish papers in established good journals that we call Q1, Q2, Q3 journals, after writing, you need money, what we call publication fees. And these publication fees are in dollars, 400, 500. We cannot afford it. For me, I felt it's just a means, or what the senators are saying is just a means for them to, to be able to score cheap political gain. And apart from that,
Mr. Adeoju, let me stay with you for a moment, because since you're also a lecturer, many would argue that many universities abroad have support. They have funding, not necessarily government. Private companies or private people do support various research into certain things. So if we all, like as Nigerians, we always look cap in hand, okay, wait for government to just give us something. We keep wanting to take from the government. Don't you think that if our university is going to be fixed, it's not for us to just sit and wait for government to give us the funding, but we must also involve the private sector. The private sector must also be willing to invest or to support certain academics into certain solutions, like Bisi spoke earlier. So don't you think it's a two-way street, that which instead of us just waiting for government to fix universities, shouldn't the people themselves to be willing to support the Nigerian universities to be more solution-driven rather than just the opposite?
Yes, of course you're right. Yes, of course you're right. There's a disconnect between the private industry and the university. I've not seen the situation where most of these private companies, banks, pharmaceutical companies, put money on table or even endow what we call professorial chairs or putting money for research. We don't have it. I've not seen a lot of that. Recently, I can't remember now, I think there was this popular politician in Nigeria who donated millions of pounds to a university in the United Kingdom. And for me, it's so terrible. I mean, charity begins at home. Your university in your country is bad. You're not doing it because it's the university that trained you before you became what you are today. So if you're not investing into your local university and you are taking down money abroad to invest, I think for me, it's a very terrible thing.
Thank you very much, Mr.
As far as I'm concerned.
Thank you very much.
Adeoju, are you?
Oh, you wanted to?
Yes, I just wanted to ask him, this autonomy that they're asking for, what would it mean for them?
I think it's government that is proposing it. I'm not sure because I'm not sure ASUU.
ASUU has been asking.
Oh, interesting.
They want asking for autonomy. They want to be able to manage their resources by themselves. So government, give us the fund you want to give us, but remove your eye.
Yeah.
Don't tell us how to spend it. Don't get your bureaucratic bottleneck involved.
I get that, but it also came out during the time when we were discussing IPPIS. So for me, I just want to make sure that this is not a way about the money, because in Nigeria it's always about the money. So now this money is now our own. And then once you get the money, then what do you do with it?
Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing universities, and we have Chief Ago on the phone. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
We are talking of the suggestions or what the speaker and the leader speakers are saying. Yeah. I, for one, am not in support of establishing more universities.
Okay.
We have more than enough. And since 2000, from the session of Tuesday Live, I've been talking on establishing of modern industries, getting industries, cottage industries that can employ people who come out from schools. Instead of them to talk of how can we establish industries in our local areas, in our local government, in same way as in small government, that these ones at the university, when they come out, they have a place to lay hand, they can be employed. Nigeria has become a productive country rather than a construction country. Why are they not talking the thing that can benefit for others? Will it mean that you come to a place, if you establish that event at Bende, I know the place, how many people will go to investment there? What will be the benefit of the people? Instead of getting industries I'm asking that the government should change the orientation of people. And again, the lecturers will talk. There are many. But some of them are theoretical. It's just like clerks. You produce clerks too. You don't produce those who can affect, who can bring something that can be benefit to this country. And then what are we talking of education? In other places, if you come out as a university student, you may be there producing, you may have your patency, and people will also provide for you. But when you don't produce, when you don't do anything, I know this vaccine you are taking off now, I'm the person who bought those things in Texas that they are using today. I want to ask the government and our setup, please concentrate on producing industry. The money they share every month.
Let me be sure I get you.
Finally.
I want to engage you.
Yes, please.
I want to engage you. Usually we are taught that government's job is not to create industries, but to facilitate, to create an enabling environment for industries like people like you and I to come up and then flourish and build companies and employ Nigerians. So why do you think it should be government creating industries for us to be more productive?
Who has the money? Is it not government? Who are the politicians? The salaries they earn every month. Is it not good for you them to use the service sources? The money they share every month, like this month was 930 billion, that was for 1.1 trillion. Can they use part of that money and establish cottage? Because no individual will do it, and they will be surprised. The condition is not easy for one. And let us call it like China, what is happening in China. Every room is cost.
Thank you, Mr. Agu. Mr. Agu is the average Nigerian saying, listen, these government people, they have money. So every Nigerian believes that there's plenty money available. Yeah. Just use that money to build industries. And that's the thing.
But also, government can also set up industries and then make them, sell them out later.
Or manage it.
Like yes, or manage it. Yes, but did they sell them to their parties? So the point is, most of these government institutions, companies, why they failed is that the process of selling them out was corrupt in the first place. They tell you that government
has no business doing business.
That's what I don't want. That's wrong.
But government has more funds to do business. We are all in business in one way or the other. The loans to start businesses, I have been trying to expand. It's not moi. But if I was in government has these funds. Would government make it possible? Lagos State built their biggest rice mill in Lagos. Will one individual be able to do that just like that without being Dangote? Think of the number of facilities you would take from financial institutions to get there. But government has done that. Government can decide, okay, we've done this. Let's get all the farmers to come here and mill, which was the plan, or do something else. But government has the funds. Now, the issue for me with all these extra universities that want to create, all these extra institutions want to create, is how do we see, what have we learned from the ones that have failed? Simple. The Unsukas, the Akoka, the big institutions, go to their hostels. What are the facilities and lecture halls looking like? I went to last labs. We had Mola de Okoya Thomas, we had so many big names donating centers within the school. The sports center is from donated by Mola de Okoya Thomas. We had big areas donated by private individuals. But what is government doing? Government is just there, not doing what they need to do. Last week is better today. Let's leave Lagos. Let's talk about other places. Yes, it's true. No, it's true. Go there. I went to school there. I went to school 99. I know what it was then. It was within my very before we had a law library. So I know how they are upgrading. But when you see the inventory that they bring from other states, hostels, from Usuka, somebody did a video, and the hostels, the ceiling was falling on the students. You expect students to stay in those places. Why do you think the politicians are looking for options for their kids to go out?
Okay, let me take this call. I'll come to you, BC. Kayode, thanks for calling. You're live.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. Yeah, I am happy that this topic comes this morning. Actually, I listened to the lecturer, Mr. Danfodiyo and Chief Agu. Now, this is my advice. The politicians know what to do. Like they say, they want to do some of these things to put their names on record that there's one that did this and that did that. But if they listen today, it will get better for them. But if they don't listen, let me advise them. Let them go and repair the prisons. Repair it, because in the future, somebody will come and send them there. And what they do now, I can assure you, they won't go scot-free. Somebody will come one day, will vote in a president one day, that will deal with all the situations, whether they like it or not. The future is waiting for them, or their children. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Kaudi. I didn't hear you much. Yes, you can say.
Government has no business doing business is our government's way of running away from responsibility and accountability.
It's not government that headed from us.
They always say it. You're not the only. They always say it. Government has no business doing business. In Singapore, government is involved in the business. In the housing, they create houses for people. They manage it. Everything goes through. Even their taxi, as little as their taxi, is run by the government. So we cannot keep saying government has no business doing business. We should vote in people who can handle that aspect of business because we need to grow. That's excusing business, excusing the government from their responsibility, what we are supposed to hold them for. That's on one side. So while we're waiting for governments to take up their space and do business, at least some parts of business for us so that we can have a better life, that's on one side. Secondly,
let's stay on that for a second.
Can I just add this? That's what we were saying.
Well, I wanted to stand on Singapore matter because Singapore has 5.4 million. That's less, that's not even Ikeja.
It doesn't matter.
It matters because we have over 200 million people going to manage. Government cannot manage 200 million people. So let's not
compare federal government here. We have state government.
Where's the state government getting the money?
Let's not compare apples and oranges.
Yes, I just also wanted to add that maybe we should not say government has no business. Maybe we should be saying for Nigeria should not have business running business. We have tried government running business. It has failed us in many ways. Yeah. And I understand what you're saying, that when we say that, it may come across to government that, okay, we'll take our hands and run away from responsibilities. What we're saying to government when we say this is that do your responsibility of making sure you're creating an enabling environment for business to thrive. That's it, simple. For industries to thrive. The last administration, they were doing a lot on...
ease of doing business.
Yes, ease of doing business. That's what we need to see more government doing. When Nigerians call and say they are paying people a lot of money, your salaries are a lot, it's not, all they're saying is give us an environment where we are able to earn such monies and we too can make the investments. It seems that all the money in Nigeria ends up in governance. And we've seen it. Our budget, a huge chunk of it is about paying salaries. So we need to see monies like that go into places where it will allow for Nigerians reach their potential. Yeah, so that's the difference. I do not agree with government because government cannot do it. I cannot reach everywhere.
Okay, so we are still the same people that will get into government. As an individual, I am doing business right now. Tomorrow I get into government, and because there's a cliche that we cannot handle business, I go there and I mess it up. Because after all, government has no business doing business. So we must be able to hold our government accountable. While we are waiting for you to create that enabling environment, which is taking you forever to create, can you also be adding to your KPI your ability to hold a business and run it? If you need technocrats, get them. That's why when it comes into political space, there's a mix. You have technocrats, you have politicians. The people who are doing the politics should play the politics. The people who are technocrats should do the job. They should know that they are responsible to Nigerians to manage the resources that they are given. Nobody will excuse you that because you are in government, you cannot handle business. We have been failing because it seems like we have given them a free pass. Once you're in government, you cannot handle this business. And then they get in there, and all the brain that they had before they get in there, they lose it.
Okay.
So they can do both. Let's hold them accountable to doing both.
Okay, fine.
While we're waiting for your enabling environment, we have been waiting since. That one has not happened, though.
Wait.
How long are we going to
We have actually
that?
waited longer because Nigerian government actually flipped it. They've been doing business for years.
Yes.
And we have actually learned from that. So that's we're coming from.
Not do it well now.
That's what
let's give them a KPI.
I'm saying that we're coming.
Let me give a concrete. We're here, all of us, talking about NMPCL.
Yeah.
And we're talking about how, and then we heard when independent marketers were going to join in because NMPC cannot handle that business alone. Right. So that's what we mean by government cannot handle it alone. Sometimes when we use these words, it's such a huge blanketed word that we don't understand what it means daily. Yeah. When telecoms, when it came in, we're also excited because what does it mean? This is what it means. You and I, when it works, it means that you and I can have phones. Do you remember what NITA was like? Do you remember the problems that we had sitting there? Because how many people can be employed by government to run that business? So that's all we're asking. Give us an enabling environment, and then we'll hold you accountable for that.
Nigerian Airways went down.
Yes, Nigerian
Airways went down.
Because they ran it down, and there were no consequences for it.
See, there's no day. It's us. Listen.
The people who were in charge, don't generalize by saying us. I was not employed in that office.
I say, okay.
The people who were employed in the office should be held responsible.
Let me
They
come
ran
in
it
for a
down.
second. We'll come back to that because we'll take Nigerian Airways, for example, but we'll come back to that. in a minute. Go ahead,
That
please.
was where I was going.
Yes.
So government can do business, but Nigerians happen to those businesses. The moment I hold an office within government, I would exempt myself and family members. What were the staff of the Nigerian Airways doing at the time? You want to travel, my brother is the director, he's the MD. They took all the rebates. They didn't pay for flight tickets. The company could not run itself on debt. Today, as we speak, federal government is owing discos on MDAs over 400 and something billion. As we speak,
That is
these
why-
discos have gone private.
That's
Government was not
that's why
involved in
Nima,
businesses.
of course. That's why I said we're not going to import the Nigerians from
That will
Singapore
do it.
or from Nigerians. It is us,
Nigerians.
the people. So it's not about Nigerians, the government business or no business.
No.
It's us. We are the ones running it down.
The common
So,
denominator in this conversation are Nigerians.
Simple.
Yes,
Across
and we need
board.
to speak to Nigerians.
What
So
do
whether
we
we
need
do
to do?
so,
What do we need to do?
But they run their
If
own
you make
businesses
it-
well.
it
no,
is
they don't.
illegal.
How
It is
many
illegal.
Nigerian businesses are 100 years old
It
today?
is
Nima?
illegal for you
How
to
many
run-
Nigerian companies can boast of 100 years?
No. They
How many
don't deliberately run it down.
What I'm
now.
saying is that all those people who since 1960 that we call out there today, how many of them have industries that are sustained? How many of them? Name those politicians in that no fact once since independence that they have companies today that's still running. None of them.
Let me add something. We have these NGOs that come and help Nigerian businesses thrive. They give you funding and everything. Many of them will tell you the way Nigerians handle this funding. Money that is supposed to go into the project, they use it all up. So it's the same Nigerians.
It's the same Nigerians.
Nigerians cannot do business.
Whether government is in business or government is out of
business.
It's
That's
why we didn't
Nigerians.
change.
that do
Simple.
it.
They didn't used to
Let me
do
take
it.
this
No.
call.
Ideally, I do not think that government needs to be part of running any business. Just create an enabling environment.
Let me take this call. Good morning. He's been holding for a minute. Go ahead, please. Sorry
Good
for
morning,
keeping you.
Olakunle, your
Yes.
first time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I can see that the ladies are on fire this morning. But let me quickly put my thoughts together and make them quickly. Government has no business in business. And that is a fact. Because history tells us clearly that government has failed in running businesses. And based on what Morayo said, I want to stretch it a bit, that if you even look at private companies, there's none in Nigeria that has stayed 100 years. The only one you have is Alabuku. Mark me right, if I'm right or wrong. But let's go to the universities and look at it this way. Your budget presently is about maybe 1.2 trillion. You have over probably 2.2 or 2.3 million students across federal institutions. If you go on the per capita basis, you'll find out that what you are trying to spend on each of these people goes as high as about 700,000 each. It is a wrong model, and we cannot, federal government cannot continue to fund these universities. You had over less than 40 million people in 1960. Today, you have over 200 million people.
Exactly.
How do you run that kind of numbers? Today, ASUU continues to fight government and tells them, oh, we can't allow you to take money out of the universities, we can't allow you to do this, we can't allow you to do that. But look at it critically. Let me use University of Uyo as an example. As of 2021, when Professor Ogun State was there, it's not about 25 billion. All they were able to generate was probably about 10 or 11 billion. How long will we continue to run this model? And I continue to say that the whole money we have that are budgeted for education should go to primary and secondary and vocational institutions. Anybody that wants to go to the university must be able to pay for it. Or else we'll continue to run mushroom universities as university will be coming 1,500 number or 2,000 in a university structure. There's nowhere in the world that it happens. Maybe the only places you can find that is in the Arab institutions and Scandinavian countries. Short of that, you don't find them anywhere else. But the truth of the matter is that we need to change this orientation. We need to start with primary and secondary school, fund them well, such that they can begin to code. Look at China for an example. 99% of their kids go to primary and secondary school. You only have 9% going to the universities. And the reason is very simple. We need to run that model so that we can grow. People are going to start 32 universities. They will get it done. They will pass the institution. And I will not blame them because there are people say they want it. But the truth of the matter is that how do we fund it when we are not running an autonomous government? Universities need to wake up. Endowment funds are there running institutions all over the world. The lecturers don't need to be lazy and they need to wake up. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olakunle. Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue the conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.